How are you, my dear students? Today our new topics is the 2.3.1 and this topic's headline is plant tissue. Tissue cell is the structural and functional unit of any organisms. The functions of unicellular and multicellular organisms are in different ways. From the first day at the advent of primitive cells like animals protozoa. Also the protozoa performs all in activities such as digestion, growth and reproduction only on single cells. But till the multicellular structure, multicellular structure organism has different organs for different metabolic process or metabolic activities. Today our new topic is plant tissue. I also explain the what is tissue and what is the plant tissue. First, the plant tissue. What is the plant tissue? An example of similar or different types of cells with the same origin and same performing a specific function is called tissue. Plant tissues are of two types. First types are meristematic tissue and second is the permanent tissue. What is the meristematic tissue? Which the structure only divide and they grow smoothly. It's also a meristematic tissue. The cells of meristematic tissue are capable of cell division, but the cells of permanent tissue are not. It's also a two different shape. Tissue can be grouped into three types. I also write this, the three types. First type is simple tissue, second type is complex tissue and third is excretory tissue. First is simple tissue. I also explain two types of tissue, simple tissue and complex tissue. And our syllabus is basically, the syllabus is permanent tissue and first the explain is simple tissue. Please everyone see the book and page number 27. What is the simple tissue? The permanent tissue which contains cells of the same shape, same size and structure is called simple tissue. On the basis of the nature of cell, simple tissues are of basically three types. First type is parenchyma, another is sclerenchyma and third is Sclerenchyma. I also explain our first topic is parenchyma and I just draw this. First structure is parenchyma. I just draw one cell and also nucleus and also protoplasm. Another cell and also same size, same shape and nucleus and protoplasm, and another is the same size and same shape and also the nucleus and protoplasm. Please everyone see the book. What is parenchyma? Parenchyma cells are seen in almost every part of a plant. Cells of this type are living, isodiametric, thin-walled and turgid with protoplasm. Thin-walled, it's also a thin-walled and contain only one structure. This structure name is cellulose. First, in intercellular space is found in parenchyma cells. Intercellular space, here I draw three cells and this structure is intercellular space only seen in the parenchyma cells. The cells are thin-walled and the walls are composed of cellulose. I also explained you that before. The parenchyma cells with air-filled spaces are called parenchyma, and when they fill up chloroplast, and it's also another name is sclerenchyma. So I also explained that first is parenchyma. Parenchyma have two types. One type is sclerenchyma when they fill up of chlorophyll. Another is parenchyma when they are filled up of the air. Sclerenchyma and parenchyma. The main functions of parenchyma cells are to organize the body or body parts of plants to produce, transport and store food. They have only three types of structure. First is the body parts of plants to produce, transport and store food. Dear students, we also know about the First structure is parenchyma. Now the another structure is sclerenchyma. I just draw this sclerenchyma. Another structure and another wall. First wall, second wall, and third wall. What is sclerenchyma? Please everyone see the book. Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma tissue are a special type of parenchyma cell. The walls of the cell become thick with the compilation of cellulose and pectin. Here the students, we also find two structures. One is cellulose and another is pectin. This also the carbohydrate structure. Cellulose and pectin. These walls are irregularly thick with thicker corners. Here I also draw the thicker corners, and also this type is thicker corners. And another structure is the walls, the cells are elongated, filled with protoplasm. Intercellular space may be present. Sometimes is present and sometimes is not present. Intercellular space. And another is the borders of the cells may be triangular, slim or oblique. Their main functions are to produce food and provide the plant with mechanical support. They are found in the veins and pistules of leaves. What is the veins? I just draw a leaf. This structure is veins, and also a pistules. This structure is pistules. Last structure is the parenchyma, sclerenchyma, and now I also explain the sclerenchyma. What is the sclerenchyma? Tissue composed of cells with the thickening of walls with lignin for providing mechanical support is called sclerenchyma. I just draw the last structure. First structure is cellulose, second structure is pectin, and third structure and also very strong structure is lignin. Then we also confirm that this cell is the sclerenchyma. Please everyone see the books and the sclerenchyma. When the early stage of their development, the sclerenchyma cells are alive, losing the living protoplasm when they become mature. The main functions of sclerenchyma tissue are to provide mechanical support and rigidity and to conduct water and minerals. There are two types of sclerenchyma. First is sclerites and second is fiber. First is fibers. I also explain the fibers. They are elongated, slender, thick-walled, and both their ends are pointed or sometimes rounded. In their walls, they have pores called pits. I also draw this. What is the pits? First structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This structure is basically cell wall, and this structure is the pits. And pits and the, because on their origin and structure they are called by different names, such as bast fiber. What is the bast fiber? The another structure of sclerenchyma called fibers is also a bast fiber. Surface fiber, xylem fiber or wood fiber. Last, sclerites. What is the sclerites? Because of their hardness, they are, another name is the stone cells. Compared with most fibers, these cells are shorter, isodiametric, or sometimes long and star-shaped. Their secondary cell walls are durable, thick, and lignified. Mature sclerite cells are usually dead. Here the students, I also explain our first topic is the simple cell or simple tissue. First tissue is parenchyma. Parenchyma have two structures, sclerenchyma and parenchyma. Second structure is sclerenchyma, which is component of cellulose and pectin. Parenchyma is the component of cellulose, and sclerenchyma is cellulose and pectin. Third structure is sclerenchyma. They are basically two types. First type is fibers and second type is sclerites. They are also the another name is wood fiber or bast fiber. Now I also explain our next topic is complex tissue. What is the complex tissue? Please everyone see the both. The complex tissue. Permanent tissue composed of more or than one type of cell is called complex tissue. Complex tissue conducts water, minerals and prepared food, and this is why they are also called conducting tissue. They can be grouped into two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem together form the conducting structure of the vascular bundle. Here the figure is 2.13 is the vascular bundle. I also give the vascular bundle. And please everyone see the board. I just draw the vascular bundle. First is the cortex. This structure is inner space and cell is very thin structure. It's also a cortex. And second structure is I just draw the pericycle. This structure is pericycle. And third structure is, first is protoxylem and another is metaxylem. Here these books we also see the vascular bundle. First is metaxylem. This structure is metaxylem and another structure is the protoxylem. Here everyone see the vascular bundle. And permanent tissue composed of more than one type of cell is called complex tissue. Complex tissue conducts water, minerals and prepared food, and this is why they are also conducting tissue. They can be grouped into two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem together form the conducting structure of the vascular bundle. This structure is vascular bundle. First is cortex, second is pericycle, and third is metaxylem and protoxylem, and here very little bit the phloem. Here the xylem. I also explain our first topic is the complex tissue is xylem. What is the xylem and what they are works? First is xylem. There are two types of xylem, primary and secondary. Xylem developed during primary growth from the procambium is called primary xylem. Secondary xylem is the xylem grown during secondary growth from the vascular cambium. Primary xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. Here I also draw the protoxylem and metaxylem. I just indicate this structure is metaxylem and this structure is the protoxylem. And the xylem are the four types. First type is trachea, second is the vessel, third is the xylem fiber and fourth is the Xylem Parenchyma. Here I also explain first structure is tracheates. What is tracheates? Tracheates are elongated with slender and sharp ends. I just draw the elongated and slender sharp ends. This structure is maybe this type. Okay? And here also little bit the nucleus and these shapes are the sharp shape. And after lignification, their lumen may become narrower and in that case, transportation of water occurs mainly through the lateral paired pits on their walls. Thickening of walls is of different types such as elliptical, spiral, scleriform, reticulate and pitted. Tracheates are found in ferns and gymnosperms and are also present in the primary and secondary xylem of angiosperms. Their main function is the conduction of cell sap to provide the organs with proper rigidity. Sometimes they also store food. Here I also draw the first structure is trachea. Second structure is vessels. I also explain the vessels and this structure is very important topics. And I also draw the vessels. This structure is, first structure is this type and another structure is this type and here also a narrow structure and there is also a narrow structure. First, vessels are short and tubular in structure and are connected from end to end. Vessel cells develop a long tube when their terminal walls are dissolved. When their terminal structure is dissolved, then this structure is just like a tube-shaped structure. Okay? Then the tube-shaped structure, this is how a narrow continuous channel is developed for the upward movement of shape. In their early stage of development, the cells are filled with protoplasm. Eventually, they die, losing protoplasm with the progression of their growth. Their main function, basically vessels' main function is to transport water and minerals and to provide the organs with proper rigidity. Another structure is Xylem Parenchyma. The parenchyma cells in the xylem are called Xylem Parenchyma or wood parenchyma. Their walls may be thick or thin. The parenchyma cells in the primary xylem have the thin walls, but those in secondary xylem are thick-walled. Their main structure are storage of food and transportation of water. Last structure of xylem. This structure is also the Sclerenchyma included. Xylem fiber. The Sclerenchyma cells in the xylem are called xylem fiber or wood fibers. The end of this type of cells are tapered. Mature cells do not contain protoplasm and so become dead. These cells provide plants with mechanical support. This structure is mainly very important structure for any plant tissue. Now, our last topic is phloem. What is the phloem? Basically, phloem. The phloem organizes the muscular bundle in association with the xylem. The xylem transport water as raw materials of food, and the phloem conduct food produced in leaves to the different parts of a plant. This type of tissue is composed of sheath tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. Again, I also repeat, basically phloem are 4 types. First structure is sheath tube. Second structure is companion cell. Third is the phloem fiber and fourth is the phloem parenchyma. I just draw the structure. Please everyone see the board and try to draw. First structure is I also draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I just draw the divider structure. This structure is divider and another structure is also a divider structure. But this structure is the port cell structure and its another name is sheath plate. Its another name is sheath plate. Please everyone see the book. What is the phloem and what is the structure of the phloem? First structure is sheath cell. Here I just draw this structure is sheath cell. Here sheath cell. These are special types of cells. Sheath cells are arranged end to end and make a tubular structure called the sheath tube. The cells are separated from each other with a sheath-like plate called the sheath plate. Here they are arranged end to end structure and this structure is the sheath plate structure. And the protoplasm in the sheath cell is closer to the wall so that a hollow lumen is developed for the conduction of food. Their walls are lignified. Mature sheath cells do not contain nucleus. It's the points. The nucleus, sheath cell has no any nucleus and the animal cells, erythrocytic cell or red blood cell have no any nucleus. Please everyone remind that. Companion cells and sheath tubes are present in the phloem of all the angiosperms. Their main function is to conduct food produced in leaves to the different parts of a plant. Second structure is companion cell. Here I just draw this structure is the companion cell. And the companion cell, a parenchyma cell is found along with its sheath cell and its nucleus is much larger. It is assumed that the nucleus of a companion cell controls some activities of the neighboring sheath cell. A companion cell is turgid with protoplasm and thin wand. They are not found in the phloem of ferns and angiosperms. Third structure is phloem parenchyma. The parenchyma cells in phloem are called phloem parenchyma. These types of cells are thin-walled and have protoplasm like other parenchyma cells. They help store and conduct food. Every structure may be they store food and conduct the food. And they are found in ferns, gymnosperms and angiosperms, but not in monocots. Our last structure is about the plant tissue is the phloem fiber. Phloem fibers are Sclerenchyma cells. These long cells are arranged end to end with each other. They are also called bast fibers. We also know first structure is the wood fiber. Now this is the bast fiber. The fibers of jute are such bast fibers. These types of fibers are developed at the time of secondary growth of plant parts. Pits are present. Again, pits are present on the walls of these cells. Through the phloem tissue, food produced in leaves and stored in roots are simultaneously conducted up and down. Here my students, I also explained in the previous class, we also know the cell organelles. Now I also explain the plant tissue. There are basically two types of plant tissue. First is meristematic tissue and another is the permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue have no any idea, but the permanent tissue we know that the permanent tissue are of three types. First is the simple tissue, another is the complex tissue, and third is the excretory tissue. In the board exam syllabus, these structures may be very important topics for your exam. Please everyone try and try. Thank you.